Welcome to this video from ProLongevity, where we're going to be chatting with Graham Phillips on topics of the day. Now, in the news over the last few weeks, we've had a massive boost in the sales of alcohol. Alcohol has a big part to play in most Britons' lives. It certainly had a big role to play in my life, and I actually used it to help me get to sleep. So I'd have a whiskey or maybe two at the end of a very long day. And thought I was doing the right thing. Let's find out from Graham Phillips whether indeed I was doing the right thing. So welcome back, Graham, and what's your thoughts on alcohol and lifestyle and me using it in the past to help me get a good night's sleep? Does it work?
I'm not a killjoy. I like a drink, and in particular, I like a glass of Malbec because it's good for your microbiome and it's full of antioxidants and so on. But here's the thing, right? If I hit you over the head with a cricket bat, you'd be unconscious, but you wouldn't be properly asleep. And when you have a ton of alcohol to knock you out, that's exactly what you're doing. You're knocking parts of the brain out, but actually sleep is really complex. It's got an absolutely complex and fundamental architecture, the different levels of sleep, rapid eye movement, the REM sleep, the non-REM sleep, and how that all fits together over the 8 hours in cycles is key to getting the benefits and the restoration of sleep. Unconsciousness and actually being asleep are not the same thing. And in fact, when you render the brain unconscious in that way, you wreck your sleep architecture. Bottom line is you destroy the benefits of sleeping.
So one very noticeable thing that I had was snoring associated with drinking. So is that a correlation that has a medical explanation?
It does. Of course, the more you drink, the more empty calories you're having, and the fatter you become, particularly if you get fat round here, that predisposes you to snoring. So that's one part of it. Secondly, that the alcohol is a muscle relaxant. So the result is that you might fall asleep on your back, the tongue retracts back into the mouth and blocks the airway. So that can increase your snoring. And also there's a kind of negative, rather than a virtuous cycle, there's a vicious cycle of poor sleep, raises your blood sugar, raises your cortisol, and does all sorts of damage to your cardiometabolic health. So it predisposes you towards the diabetes, the hypertension, the cancer, the dementia. So it's bad at all these different levels.
So you said earlier on that you're not a killjoy, and provided you've got all of your normal health factors, BMI, etc., under control, what kind of drinking and style of drinking do you think people can get away with without impacting their health?
Yeah, well, for many years I lived in St Albans, which is the home of the campaign for real ale. And there's more pubs per head apparently in St Albans than anywhere else. The trouble is, a pint of real ale is 10 spoonfuls of sugar. So if you tend to sort of have 2 or 3 pints of an evening, that's 20, 30 spoonfuls. Whereas a glass of lager is probably no more than 2 spoonfuls. But actually what I tend to recommend to people now is a glass of Malbec. That's a red wine. It's full of antioxidants and polyphenols. So A, it's good for your longevity, and B, it's good for the microbiome, the bugs in your gut. So, you know, a glass or two, I'm talking about not a bottle or two, but it's you can think about it as a health food.
Fantastic, Graham. I think that's a really good insight into the impact and how to drink reasonably safely and beneficially. So cheers for that.
And to you, my friend.
So if you've enjoyed that, then please do join our LinkedIn and Facebook group. There's a lot more information, and you can ask individual questions, have a private conversation with Graham as well. And we'll also be publishing news about future events, both online and physical events, when we end the lockdown. That's all from myself and Graham. Bye for now.
Bye now.